A woman took her 67-year-old neighbor to court because of a few tiny paint spots on a fence she doesn't even own. The older lady actually bought and built that fence herself. When she noticed some paint got on the neighbor's side, she cleaned it right away with a power washer. Problem solved, right? Nope. The neighbor still decided to record her for an hour and then sue her. It's hard to believe someone could be this petty. You can literally see the judge losing patience before the case even starts. Let's break it down.
So when I purchased the house, she's correct in that I purchased the house 5 years ago. And almost 5 years ago. In 2019, I spoke to her in the spring. I didn't see her until the spring. And I asked her about the fence because the back fencing needed repair. And I have a dog, so I wanted to make sure that if I need to make any repairs on the fencing on both sides, that I was talking to the neighbors to find out whose responsibility it was so that I did the right thing. And she said that in the beginning, 3 families went in and purchased the fencing, and that, yes, this side was my side. I could plant my garden.
Who told you that?
Sharon.
Was Ms. Wilson? Oh, okay.
It was, sir.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure I wasn't planting my plants too close to the fence if it was her fence and what the expectations were. So she told me that, yes, that side was my side, that it was to be taken care of by me, and that I could plant up to the fence line. And we had a pretty cordial relationship as neighbors up until 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. And after that, she had somebody come in my yard and stuff out with a weed whacker. And I said, I just would like to be left alone. So when she had this fence painted, they had started painting the back end of it, which is where my backyard is. And I noticed that the red paint was getting all on my side of it. And so I went out there and I said, hey, you guys, the paint's getting getting red on my side. You please stop painting my side. I don't care what you paint her side. That's fine. That's hers. She can do what she wants, but I just don't want it on my side. So they left. And then a couple days later, they came back. The first day was like June 30th. And then the second time they came back, there was 3 of them, and they were continuing to paint. And I was like, listen, this is going to be really expensive to fix because this is such an old fence. So please, let's not get any more red paint over here. And I had talked to the one guy, he had a dog, and he was pretty nice about it. He was like, okay, well, when I come back, I might be able to fix this. I have a new tool that I have, and it might be able to get this off. And we had discussed about letting me know when they were coming back to paint the rest of it so that I could cover my plants. And he had agreed that he had some stuff that he could cover it with too, or whatever. And it seemed really cordial. And then he actually came back and painted the fence and didn't talk to me about it, but it was not a problem at that point. Then in September, they came back and repainted it. And that's when all the paint started getting on my side again. And I said, I need to stop. This is getting out of hand. And it just wasn't getting resolved. I had sent Sharon a couple texts. I had called her twice and left a voicemail. She wasn't answering. So after that, I spoke to her in her driveway and I said, listen, if we can't resolve something, I'm just going to have to take it to small claims court. And she didn't say anything. So I just decided to take it to small claims court so that we could resolve it, because she's a good person. She honestly believes that the fence is hers because she paid money towards the fence before I moved in. But I think that because I bought property and everything was included in the property, including whatever money they paid towards the fence on the property line, that it's mine. So I think that's where fusion is, and that's where we need intervention.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, did you say that the fence was jointly owned or jointly put up by the property owner?
No, and I have a letter here from the old neighbor, Nan, that lived over there for 35 years, and that states that it wasn't her fence. She did not pay for it. And
well, I'm not going to look at a letter though, or anything else anybody else told you. You can only tell me what you got.
Okay.
When was the fence hold on, when was the fence originally put up? Tell me that.
I don't know the exact dates, but like in 93, 94, somewhere in there.
And were you still a property owner where you're at now at that point?
Yes, I've been here for 33 years.
Okay, so when the fence got put in, was there an agreement that it was a mutual agreement between property owners that a fence would be put up? Is that right?
No.
Did you pay for the fence?
I paid for the fence. My husband and I pay.
How much did you pay for the? Hold on. How much did you pay for the fence then?
Back then it was like $4,000.
And none of the other property owners had anything to do with it.
No.
Okay. Why? How would Miss Baker get that confused? If you told her it was your
I
fence.
told her that Nan and John, my old neighbors, and they had asked me if I would not paint that side of the fence as long as they maintained it, just so it would match their fence, because they went and had a fence put up too. They put a deck there and put a gate in and everything, and they wanted it to look all natural, where mine was, I was painting it. And they asked me
Okay.
if I do that for them. And
When,
when Holly came to me and talked about that, I told her that I would treat her just like I did Nan and John with the fence, just enjoy it.
You build your own fence, paint it, and suddenly your neighbor thinks you've done something wrong. Instead of just being friendly, she turned it into a full-blown drama over a few dots of paint. The damage could have been cleaned in minutes with a wet rag, but instead, she filed a lawsuit. Technically, you can sue if someone damages your property, but this wasn't even her fence. And the paint was already cleaned off. There was no real case, just pure pettiness. Honestly, it feels like this woman just wanted attention or something to complain about. What do you think? Was this a real issue, or just a waste of time?
that a kind of, I guess, agreement with your other neighbor. When
Yeah.
did that take place? That you would only paint your side? How long ago was that? Just curious.
Like 30 years ago almost. I mean,
Wow.
it's been a long time. There has been no
Yeah.
issues on this fence until this summer. My fence is so old. It had already fallen down once. And I hired a fella, which I also have a document here of him saying he came to my home and he redug fence post holes and re-put the fence back up because it was falling down. All the cement post, the post and the cements were all rotted off at the ground level. And if it wasn't for me hiring him, there wouldn't even be a fence.
Okay. So, it's your testimony that you've maintained that fence for the last 30 years or so? Is that right?
Yes, since it was put up. Yes, sir.
Has any of the other neighbors, even before Ms. Baker, anybody make any claim to that fence or the property up to that fence?
No,
Okay.
I get along with all my neighbors, and I don't know where she got 3 neighbors were paying for it, because that is not so.
Okay. And again, I just want to make sure I understand. You've been there consistently for 30 years. No
30
breaks in time, anything like that.
33 years.
Okay. All right, Ms. Baker, what can you tell me to help me out, saying that, show me that she doesn't own the fence? She's been there 30 years.
The fencing was put up there. This is what the other guy that painted told me the same
But you
story.
can't tell me what anybody else. Yeah, you can't tell me what anybody else said.
He's
Okay,
here.
well, in the evidence that I provided, I show the Genesee County GIS property line. I also have the same fencing put up in my backyard. The same fence goes the back end of my fencing, and the side fencing is all the same fencing. It was all put up at the same time.
The fence was a shadow box fence on my side, and the fence that's in her yard is solid.
No, it's not. And actually there's images of that. You can see back where my shed is.
Yeah, but that's not your fence. I'm talking about the fence that Nan and John put up in the backyard. It is not the same as mine.
It's
I
the same
bought the
fence. It's
shadow
exactly the same fence, and you can see in the images.
Where the fence line is, sir, and the old fence fell down. There's no longer I had the posts that had the pretty tops on them and everything. And where the fence was re-put up after it fell down, them posts aren't like that. So, and that's the majority of the fence. And I also had an addition put onto my home back in about 2005. And when I did, it created a vulnerable space between my fence and the back of my addition, where I was worried somebody might be able to break in and nobody would see them. So I hired this guy to come in and put 12 foot of fence onto the front of that fence, plus move the front fence and gates up to the front of my addition, to the back of my addition and everything. So, I mean, I have all that documentation here signed by these people that shows that I have maintained this fence and taken care of it. Like I said, it was on the ground a couple of times because of we live on a hill and all the drainage comes down across my backyard and stuff, and it rots everything fast.
That's 100% correct. And the back line of my property has the same issue with the fencing, where when I had to have it repaired with dig up the holes and take the cement out, the she's talking about that had the decorative top to it, I had to those out. There's a couple of them still left, but it's all the same. It's all the same fencing and same design. But when we had repaired them, we just put up the regular post because actually it was pretty difficult for them to dig out the cement and then re-put cement posts in. She's absolutely correct that the fence is a nightmare to fix.
Okay. Is there anybody got a survey for me?
I have a
The
survey.
property?
I have a
Can you
survey
get it?
from before my addition was put on, but I have it. I have
Can you,
where I could download it to you if you'd like, but
can you do that for me? Can you?
I needed an
Can you-
email address though I have
Yep, I can get you. Why don't I do that then? I'll get you an email address, and can you email it to Ms. Baker too?
I can try. I'm
Sure.
67 years old. I can try, but yes.
Okay, let's give it a shot. Well, I'll give you.
67-year-old grandma was calm, kind, and clearly just wanted peace. You could tell she wasn't trying to cause trouble. She even said she power washed both sides of the fence just to keep things nice. If I were the neighbor, I would have just said, "Hey, a bit of paint got on my side, no big deal," and moved on. But this lady, nope. She pulled out her phone, started recording, and took her to court. She wasn't hurt, nothing was broken, she just wanted drama. Honestly, it felt like she was trying to bully this sweet old woman for no reason. Would you have let it go, or would you have fought back and countersued? The judge asked for pictures and documents. Both women tried to explain their sides, talking about where the fence was and who built it. The grandma said, "It's my fence, I paid for it and put it up myself." The judge looked at all the evidence and agreed it's her fence. She painted her own side. The case is dismissed. That's it. The whole thing was thrown out, and honestly, it should have been. A woman really tried to sue a grandma for painting her own fence, and lost. The grandma even tried to clean the neighbor's side to keep the peace, while the neighbor stood there filming her like she was doing something wrong. It's just sad how far people will go over something so small. The judge's time was wasted, the court's time was wasted, all because of pure pettiness. What do you guys think? Was this just neighborhood drama gone crazy, or did the Karen actually have a point? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more crazy court stories.